Hi friends, it's Brittany at Ink and Papyrus and welcome back to my channel. Are you tired of the same old boring Christmas cards? I mean, I love Snoopy and all, but there's gotta be something better, right? Well, how about some really cool Christmas postcards that you can put your personal touch on? And yes, you can actually mail these. Today, we are making transparent see-through postcards, and if you have some tape, you too can make these. Look how adorable. You can make these any size, shape. You can just use images or write a personal message. So let's take a look at these up close and personal. So this technique is so simple. We will be doing a step-by-step, but in this video, I mostly want to focus on actual ideas for really cool things you can put in here. Different considerations. Do you want the same front and back? How to create a mirror image. Look, Pooh Bear. You can use die cuts, you can use cardstock as you see here. I've incorporated several different elements. You can make small little ones. I did sew some of these. This big, glorious, oversized postcard with a handwritten message on the back. All you would do to mail this is actually sub this out for a real postcard. I have mailed these before, so no worries. And the tape is even lighter than a standard card and envelope, so you don't have to worry about that. Adorable. I even included a recipe. So cute, right? This is a 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I found the actual story on a digital printable, and I got some die cuts in the shape of stockings, as in stockings were hung by the chimney, and just put a simple single stitch along here to make it look like the stockings were hung. Really cute. Okay, let your imagination run wild. Here I have die cuts, and I actually went and got pine from outside, like the floral pine, and tape these puppies down. And I'm using a mirror image so that there is a message on the front and on the back. This is one of my favorites, just cardstock and die cuts. I almost think this looks like somebody bought it. And it's the little simple touches that make these so personal and adorable. Just a little bit of stamping there at the top to make it look like a voided postcard. Obviously, if you want to, you can mail these in an envelope. Like I said, it's totally fine. These will go through the mail as long as you put a single postage stamp up top. And a little message on the back. And an ugly sweater. Look! An ugly sweater with a nutcracker on it. Here's another faux postage stamp on the wrong side. Well, I guess it's on the correct side here. And I just put a button on the postage stamp since we're doing fashion. And I found some words. I glued the front and the back so you get the same message. It is a mirror image, jingle all the way. And put some little just like bling to give the sweater a collar, and here you go. So let's get to it. All you need is some Scotch tape. This is just some light clear shipping tape. I made so many of these. I had so much fun. I actually just had to order some more. Some scissors. And like I said, use your imagination. Whatever you want to put in here. Anything that's flat works. So let's get to it. So I guess it's no secret by now that one of my favorite things to put in these postcards are die cuts. You absolutely don't have to use die cuts. There are a ton of other things you can use. My favorite thing to do is to make die cuts out of paper that are colored on the front and the back. And that way you truly get a front and back transparent postcard. You'll notice that some of the postcards don't look the same on the front and the back, and I do at times glue objects together to create a mirror image effect, which we will talk about shortly. But here I just want you to see the different die cuts that I'm using and hopefully spark some ideas for things that you can put in your postcards as well. By the way, if you don't have a die cutter machine, this is my Sizzix Big Shot. You don't have to buy one. You can get some simple just die cuts, pieces of paper that are already cut out at your local craft store. Though die cuts are natural pick because you will have a front and a back, there are still ways to create the front and back of a transparent postcard without die cuts. In the first example, I simply glued 2 pieces of tissue paper together and glued 2 separate images to the front and to the back piece of tissue paper, and that way you have a front and a back postcard. In the second example, I just glued 2 digital images together, front and back, same with the faux stamp, and that is how I got that mirror reversed effect. And just like with digital images, you can also glue cardstock front and back together to create the front and the back of a postcard. And don't be afraid to experiment with other things that you would like to put in your transparent postcard. Since this is fashion themed, I implemented some sewing threads in here. Not only did I sew around the postcard, but I actually just put some sewing thread into the postcard itself. The same can be done with sequins or really flat buttons. That would work too. All of those things really give these a nice special touch, and of course are things that you would never be able to do with just a traditional paper postcard. I'll have to admit, I'm pretty pleased with how this next postcard came out and my own creativity. You know, when you're making a postcard, it doesn't have to just be an image or a message, even though that is really special. But think of some other things you could do. You could send someone some song lyrics. In this case, I wrote down the recipe for a Christmas cocktail. I included a die cut of a Margarita glass up top and included some festive words down below. So you'll notice in this example, I simply use a stamped die cut made from my Sizzix Big Shot. In some of the other examples, I take scissors with the special edges, the decorative edges, and cut out a stamp. Like I said, if you do put a real stamp on these see-through postcards, if you tape one inside and it is visible, the postage stamp will mail it. I've mailed these, I think, twice before and never had any issues. I looked online and some other people had said they were able to mail them as well. I wasn't sure if I wanted to mail these or keep them for my own journal, so that's why you don't see me using real stamps. I just want to impress upon the point that you can. This is actually an alternative for a Christmas card if you would like it. So the process of actually getting your design onto the tape is quite easy, and I will be showing you the process once or twice more, at least so you get the hang of it. You just have to do it for yourself. Once you get the feel of it, this is really easy, I promise. So first you want to make sure there isn't any particulate matter, any glitter or dust or anything on your desk, because the way I'm going to show you, the way you see it pictured here, is to put the tape down, face down, so it will stick to your desk. It is easy to flip it over, just pry it, off the desk. But if you do have any particulate matter, it's going to stick to the tape and it's going to get in your postcard. I want you to lay out your postcard design as you see it. Put your stamp in the top corner, wherever you want it. Lay out your die cuts, lay out whatever floral material you may want to put in your postcard. And then I want you to just unroll the Scotch tape and just kind of, grossly eyeball it to see exactly how much tape you think you're going to need. Okay, cut the piece and just roll it out with your right hand, and on your left hand, smooth over it as you're laying it out to try and prevent any bubbles. Once you have your first piece of tape laid down, I want you to repeat this process. At this point in time, all of your die cuts will be in place, die cuts, cardstock, whatever you're using, flowers, whatever, and you will have one piece of tape stuck to the desk. Now, I want you to keep repeating the process, rip another piece of tape, and make sure you overlap that second piece of tape a little bit with your first layer of tape. You don't want anything poking out. I want you to repeat the process until everything you have is covered. At this point in time, you should have multiple pieces of tape all stuck together, all stuck to your desk. At this point in time, you're going to flip the pancake. It shouldn't be hard to peel up the tape, and if you did a good job of cleaning your desk, there shouldn't be anything else unwanted on the tape. Flip that tape over, and I want you to repeat the process by ripping a piece of tape, matching that tape up with the sticky side. So you're going to have the sticky sides together. You're going to match a new sticky side of tape with the other sticky side of tape until all of whatever die cuts or images or flowers or whatever else you're using are covered. By this point in time, you should have a front and a back of postcard with probably quite a bit of tape around the sides you may want to cut off. You are going to just with a straight, it doesn't have to be super precise. Just take a long pair of scissors and simply cut the excess off until you're left with a square or rectangle or whatever shape of postcard you would like to design. You will notice that even though everything is going to get taped over, I do have a tendency to glue some of the little pieces down, whether it be with a little bit of wet white glue, though you do want to be careful you don't put too much or else it will seep into the tape. Better yet, most of the time I just go down with a glue stick. This ensures that the little pieces stay in place for whatever reason, even though it may seem like you put the tape directly down, these things always have a tendency to move. So it's just an extra layer of security, and it keeps from the infuriating feeling of trying to pry up the tape to move something. And unfortunately, anytime I've had to do this, I have ripped and decimated whatever I was trying to get out from under there and moved and just had to start back over. So do yourself a favor, save yourself a headache, put a little glue down on any of those small pieces that you don't want moving. I did decide to sew this postcard, and I did sew some of the other postcards as well. The one thing I will tell you is you will really need to clean your sewing needle in between, or else it's going to get gunked up with all of the adhesive and you risk skipping stitches and the tension being off and a lot of other not good things. So just keep an eye on the sewing needle. If it gets sticky, just take a cotton ball and dab it down with some rubbing alcohol, and I think otherwise you should be good to go. Don't forget, the postcards don't have to conform to any specific shape and size. Here I'm using an oversized digital image. The image is on the front and the back is blank, which may cause one to fret if you are trying to create a decorative front and back. However, I use this as an opportunity to write a special message to the recipient, or to myself, I guess, about Christmas, and I love it. I also, at the end, you'll see me add some applique. There are no rules. Like I said, I could sew through the tape just fine, so I added some gold applique that I felt fit really, really well with the angel. I added it to the sides to really spruce up the postcard. I don't think it would make it so heavy that the postage would be any different, so I'm not really worried about that, and I think it's a really nice added touch. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think the gold is just magical, and personally, I would absolutely love to receive this in the mail. This would have to be one of my favorite Christmas cards. So now we're going to branch off in a different direction, and I mean literally. So when I had initially thought about the concept of making see-through postcards, it was a different season, and I thought, how beautiful would it be to incorporate flowers into, like dried pressed flowers into a postcard? That would be so special. And I feel like these are a great idea for being able to incorporate things that you may want to send to somebody that are not paper. Think maybe coins from a trip, dried pressed flowers, like I said. I even had some really flat sea glass I considered trying, though I'm sure it would be above the weight limit. You'd probably have to send it in an envelope with some special postage, but still, your imagination is truly the limit. So I thought, well, Christmas theme, what can I do? Maybe something with like some holly, with some like fake berries, cut out some berries to add to the holly. And in this case, I decided to go outside and get some pine. And I thought that was Christmassy enough. I thought it fit perfectly with the wreath and the tree. And I ended up making a postcard out of it. I added some presents to the bottom to really spruce in the postcards up, liven up, and I absolutely love how this came out. So this next postcard, I guess I'm just calling a winter wishes postcard. It was inspired by the 6x6 paper pad pack from Michaels. And this is going to be one of the easiest postcards I'm going to make, even though I do use die cuts and some other elements in this postcard. We're starting with a cardstock base. It's a non-transparent base, so basically you can decorate the front and the back however you would like. You're not gluing anything together to create a mirror image. Nothing has to line up perfectly. We are literally just gluing down some papers to decorate it and covering it with tape. So this is the easiest way to make one of these postcards. Just like before, I'm going to apply some glue to the die cuts and other images just so things don't move around. And just like about everything else in life, I think everything looks better when there are some images and words. So I pulled out my die cut and some glitter paper and cut out the word hope. I don't know if you're supposed to use the whole block. You're probably not supposed to. And I realized that after I glued it back down, you're probably just supposed to use the letters, but I can still easily see what it says. It says hope, obviously. And I don't know, it's very bold and I think emphasizes the word. So that's what we're going to go with. So I dolled up the front and I guess the back is gonna be kind of bare. I just put a phrase on the back, but I was happy with it. The front is so busy. I kind of wanted the front to the winter landscape to stand out on its own. And just leave the back really simple. This would also be a good opportunity especially with this nice light cardstock, to write a message for someone on the back if that's what you wanted to do with it. I just want to point out, I love the front so much, and you can use these postcards to completely tell a story. And that's why when I initially had thought about making these postcards, I was going to do it in the summer for a travel journal, because we collect memorabilia, we collect images and packaging and stuff, and incorporating it into a single square something tells a story. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with this postcard, is create this really nice like winter landscape. I was thinking, aside from that word hope, like maybe I should have written something like all is calm, all is bright, or maybe even like the words to Silent Night on the back. But I felt like looking at this landscape, it told a story of a beautiful winter night around Christmas time. And I think that everything is spectacular. I love the color theme. I love everything. So I actually think I'm going to use this as an example to make a full set of postcards, like similarly themed postcards to send to my friends and family. Though that may be a little bit difficult of a choice, because you'll see as we go on, I also fall in love with some of the other themes of the Christmas postcards that I have made, and I'm sure you will too. Speaking of falling in love with other postcards, would you look at this really cute little Pooh Bear postcard? Just to prove that they don't have to conform to any specific size and shape. I absolutely love these mini postcards, and again, I would love to make more of these. I am just cutting out a little faux stamp that I'm going to include in this little mini Pooh Bear postcard off to the side there. And as you can see, I've taken some present die cuts and have just incorporated them into the image and have rested them on Pooh Bear's sled. I am loving everything about this postcard. It's absolutely adorable. And here we go again, just taping over all of the elements to create the unified postcard. By the way, even though my preference is to make these with Scotch tape, just because it's so readily available and easy to do, you can also get those photo laminated pouches. I have a little laminating machine at home. I'm sure this would work perfectly by just putting everything in the laminated pouch and putting it through, as long as all of your elements are secure and glued down to something. Just another thought. As for me, I'm going to be sticking with the tape, I think. Okay, guys, prepare to fall in love because I am about to show you our ugly Christmas sweater postcard. That's right, I took 2 die cuts of a sweater and glued them together, and this is going to allow us to decorate 2 different sweaters, one for the front, one for the back, and we are making them as hideous as feasibly possible. I cannot wait. So for the black side of the sweater, I decided to give it a pretty blue color. I had these white twinkle stars and this beautiful blue nutcracker. And I absolutely love how this came out. In fact, one of the paper pads I got from Michael's was nutcracker themed, and I thought about adding a couple of other elements, but I thought, this may be a little bit too busy. The other side of the sweater is going to be this beautiful red color, and I decide to just put a Christmas tree on it and do a couple other basic decorating. Or I guess basic decorations, meaning just kind of like your classic Christmas sweater. There was nothing to this, guys. It was super easy. Maybe in the future, like maybe I'll make a few more of these Christmas sweaters and actually add some serious bling to them and some cut up designs and stuff, but I was just going to keep it basic for the sake of time in this video. I did cut out a piece of paper I used as a stamp, and I added a button on each side just to kind of keep with the fashion theme. So just as I did with the sweater, I glued together the phrase "jingle all the way," so it's a mirror reverse on the front and the back. So just of note, not all images, of course, can be mirror reversed, right? Like you can't print out the same detailed image twice and just cut both out and expect to glue them on top of each other. You know what I'm saying? I think there is a fancy setting on the printer you can use to create a mirror reverse and be able to do that. I'm not sure what that is. If you guys know what I'm talking about, maybe drop me a comment below. I actually, for the first time, I bought a digital image kit last week, and I saw it being advertised that there were reversed images, which I thought was strange, but I wonder if it's just because the person has the forethought to think, well, maybe, someone will do a project where you have to have the same thing on the front and the back. I guess it would make sense. Like I was thinking, even like paper dolls, it's really cool if you have a paper doll that you have an image of front and back glued together. I'm trying to think of some other projects where that would be the case. But anyways, that was the first time I ever saw a digital image advertised that way. And it made me think if maybe somebody had done a similar project and they had gone back to the person and said, hey, I would really like these to be, mirror, if you could include the mirror reverse of these digital images. Anyways, it just made me think, I wonder what other projects are out there that people are using this technique where you need the mirror reverse of the image. Sorry, now I'm just blabbing at this point. But anyways, it interested me. Anyways, can we all just agree it kind of makes one's brain hurt? So yeah, I like it, but if you know of any easy way to do it on the printer, please let me know. Anyways, this project is not supposed to make your brain hurt. It's actually supposed to be a very simple, relaxing project. So guys, I hope some of the postcards you saw me make today inspired you. I hope you'll rethink the way you're sending Christmas cards this year, or, if you're sending them at all. I know it's kind of become an outdated thing of the past, maybe. I don't know about you guys. I still exchange Christmas cards with other people and, close friends and family, and I love getting Christmas cards from people in the mail. So that's just me. It seems like less and less people are doing it these days. I just still think it's pretty meaningful to get a card from a loved one in the mail. And these were so unique. I felt like I had to share. It's maybe if people saw really cool Christmas cards that were nothing like they had seen in the past, it would inspire them to also try to do something like this, especially if it's really easy, right? So I hope this inspired you to start on some Christmas cards for your loved ones and to make something really pretty. And even if you're not intending on sending these out, I hope you make some really cool ones that you love just to put in your own journal. So guys, if you found value in this, you enjoyed it, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you the next time.